Okay, I've just zoomed in with Chris Bagley. He's actually got an incredible bit of history behind him. He started at BNZ and was there for a good decade, and kind of touched probably all sorts of retail business and asset finance banking there, and then a bit of a change project in Kiwi Point Quarry. So all of the kind of challenges that go around change there, no doubt. And then back to BNZ and set up the partner centre network there, which I'm sure a few of our clients definitely have enjoyed. And now I'd say you consider yourself a business advisor with a bit of good arsenal behind you in terms of experience and battle scars and learnings and stuff, and definitely coming from that banking side, a pretty well connected sort of a guy. Is that a fair summary?
I think so, Cam. Yeah, I mean, I've deliberately set about to try and become a broad generalist in what I do, and having a banking background has always been very helpful in that process.
As I sort of said to you, I dialed you up because I thought your perspective would be pretty unique in this position, and I guess from your perspective of being in business and also touching a lot of businesses and being that privileged in that privileged position with them. So the first sort of one I was keen to get your thoughts on was around team engagement over this crisis. Obviously, a large amount of businesses have been locked down, nothing going on, nothing necessarily connecting without really deliberate actions. So what are you sort of seeing in that area?
The vast majority of businesses, certainly at the very start of this, uncertainty was a word that was being thrown around pretty regularly. I'll just talk to a couple of things that I've been sort of recommending to my clients to do, and that is to maintain a high level of connection with your team, with your staff. I think as much as this is a very uncertain time for business owners, equally it's a very uncertain time for staff. I think one of the most important things we can do is to engage with our staff, to try and give them some context around where the business is going, what the game plan is going to be, the role that they have in helping to implement the game plan, and I think staff find that quite calming, quite reinforcing. I think it gives them a good degree of confidence, and I think it gives them a good degree of purpose. That's probably one of the key things I would stress at the moment is just making sure that you're bringing your team around what does COVID-19 mean for the business as best we can understand it to be.
And taking them on that journey, I suppose, because they've got to be important in terms of getting through this as well.
I think so. I think in the vast majority of cases, staff want to be in the process of helping their employer find a way through the challenges which COVID-19 is going to deliver. And obviously, as we talked about before, it's going to be different for different industries and it'll be different for different businesses. But I think, we often talk about teamwork. We talk about staff engagement. I think now it's so vitally important that we bring those two thoughts to the fore and make sure that we are being very honest. I think being very clear. And trying to give staff as clear understanding of what the next few months might hold for the business and for them as staff.
Yeah, cool. And you, what's your sort of feelings been? Well, obviously you're dealing primarily with business owners, but what's the trickle down thoughts been around how their staff are getting through it in terms of their well-being and I guess their engagement with that business owner? Or?
Good question. I think on the whole, a lot of staff have taken a reasonable degree of confidence from the approach and the communication that the government's been putting out. And so I'm generally finding across clients, staff to be quite positive. Looking forward to getting back to work, looking forward to finding a way to reconnect with clients, and to push the business forward. I think that'd be fair. I think where I have seen issues is those issues are generally being born out of staff being left in the dark, and they just don't know what this means for them. Which brings us back to what we were talking about earlier. Really, is that I think you can't communicate enough with your staff, and I think it's also, on that point, I think it's a great opportunity at the moment to be harvesting the knowledge that our staff naturally have about the business. And I think there's a very high level of genuineness that staff want to contribute toward finding a way through the problems that many businesses will have for a few months, and we should do everything we can to engage them in that discussion.
I can completely agree, and purpose will be something people are seeking at the moment as well.
Massively. I think more so than ever before. I think given all the uncertainty that we're facing as individuals, as business owners, I think purpose, having clear purpose, knowing where the business is going, knowing what you have to do day to day to support those goals of the business. It's always been important, but I think it's now even more important.
Couldn't agree more.